let's look at this cat. As you can see, it just came out of the bag. Has a lot of connective tissue on it. Okay, and we're going to talk about removing the pelt first. Okay, how to remove the pelt. Once again, remember, you're going to use some tweezers, some pickup, and a probe. That's how I recommend you start. So we're going to pick up the skin or the pelt of the cat, and with the blunt edge, we're doing this thing to break the connective tissue. When it comes to dissecting, you have to have a lot of patience, because if you don't, you're going to cut things that you don't want to cut. Okay, so it's going to be very tedious. It will take time. Don't rush through the process. Now remember, if your hand gets tired because it's just a regular pickup, switch to the hemostat, which is this instrument. With this instrument, I can click it in place and hold it easily, such as this. And once again, I can remove connective tissue. The other technique I already told you about is to put the probe underneath the surface and kind of wiggle it around a little bit, right? And in this case, it's just a little bit of flap of skin right here, so I may want to cut this with a pair of scissors. Always cut with the blunt side down and go along the probe. Okay. At this point, you can use a hemostat again. Work on one side. Click this in place, and with the probe, you can remove the connective tissue. So what I'm doing is I am just reflecting the pelt from the connective tissue, and it will go pretty fast. This cat here is pretty easy. Okay. Once you're done with that, you can go to the other side and do the same thing. Click it in place. Use either the round end or the blunt end. Okay, we're going to go up the chin here. And with this technique, I will use the probe once again, put the probe in, use pickup to help me get the probe underneath, make myself a little hole, if you will, and then wiggle. Okay, wiggle the probe, and if you see, I'm up here. Okay, I'm up here right now. I can go even a little further. Now I'm up to here. At this point, I will take a pair of scissors, blunt side down, and I will cut along the probe. And when I've gone to the end of the probe, I do the same thing. Help my location. I'm going to use the tweezer, insert the probe underneath here, wiggle, loosen up the pelt a little bit, and yes, you know it. Use the scissor, blunt side down, cut along the probe to the tip. Okay. Use the hemostat, reflect the skin, and then you can use the probe once again to loosen the connective tissue. Okay, now this location is giving me a little bit of a tough time. So anytime you have really tough connective tissue and it doesn't seem to want to say, well, here we go. The probe is actually doing a good job. Okay, but if you really, really have to, you can use scissors. Okay, use scissors to cut the connective tissue. Stay very close to the pelt though, okay, because you don't want to go deep. Stay very close to the pelt. I prefer you use this. And you can see the blood vessel right here coming up. Nice veins that have been injected with blue latex so that you know this is a vein and not an artery. Okay, now you may be wondering, so what do we do when we get up to this part? Well, this part, I'm going to want to go around the lower jaw and up to the cheek. The only way to do this is to use a scalpel. Yes, I told you use a scalpel as a last resort because at this point there's nothing else that will work. So I am going to extend the cut up to the edge of the chin, and I am going to go around the corner, kind of staying right where the lips would be, and around to the edge of the mouth. I'm going to do this on both sides because we want to expose both sides. Sometime in your lab, we will ask you to only remove the pelt on one side of the cat, keep the other side intact because we don't want to dry out. In this demonstration, we're going to do both sides. Okay, so remember, this may or may not apply to your lab. Ask your instructor first. So remember, go cut deep and then go along the mouth. And you can cut on the other side as well. Go alongside the mouth. So I'm going to use the hemostat because it's going to take a while. And I'm going to try to loosen up this connective tissue here. I'm going to use a scalpel because it's going to be very tough. See how I'm going very close to the jaw, but still staying very superficial. At this point, you can see this is the mandible of the cat. This is another muscle that we want to learn, and I'm staying superficial to both the mandible and the muscle. Okay, so that's it. You continue doing that throughout the whole cat. Now you get a cat that's already skinned, that saves you a lot of work. If the cat has the pelt in it, you've got to use this technique to remove the pelt, using the scalpel as a last resort. So only use the probe, use hemostats, scissors to help you get the pelt off. Okay?